The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
God damn it, Kyle. I did 40 minutes of P90X workout tonight, and you know what? I worked harder than any of the damn Canucks tonight. Kyle, cut to the damn music, man. I'm sick of this.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, also a Canucks Raider with Daily Hive Vancouver. But tonight, the only words I could write down were because that's how I felt watching this game. And the Canucks right now have no damn consistency, right? They put in a good performance against the Leafs, and we're thinking Kyle's titling episodes. The Canucks sure would love to win games. Well, they sure would put up an absolute sucky-ass performance tonight, and that was the most intelligent way I could phrase that. That's my emotional feelings right now. The Vancouver Canucks, we got to ask the question now heading into the show, Kyle. Are the Vancouver Canucks cooked as Rick Tocchet cooked?
Are the Canucks frauds? Was last year a fluke? Dude, how can you not already ask yourself that question right now? Straight up. And like, what's the move? What does Alvin and Rutherford do? Do they, like, how do you make a trade? You've already called out every single player through the media. There's only one more move left to be made. If you have no trade in sight and you're looking for a little bit of a bump, and it's firing Rick Tocchet, which is crazy to say, but based on how this team comes out for most of their games and how through large periods of times throughout these games, they can just fall on their ass, fall on their face, and look horrible and look embarrassing. It's a damn joke. And it looks like a team that A, isn't a team, and B, is completely tuned out the head coach. Real talk. It's just the truth. Now, this is the post-game show, so we have to get right to a comment, and we're going to do it right now. I hate that I'm doing this. I really do hate that I'm doing this because a lot of people aren't going to like this because I'm pretty sure that Matt is the I'm pretty sure this guy's Harpoon. If you know who Harpoon is, you know who Harpoon is, right? But Matt, he's the most hated guy on this program, and we're starting off the show with him. Congratulations, you won at life. And he's saying this, okay? I will say it again. Patterson and Miller, you can't have both, okay? You can't have both. You can't have both. You just can't. You can't have both playing at this level. You can't have both being on the same team if they can't put their egos on the side or their emotions onto the side and take this seriously. Because in my opinion, both those guys, Trevor, come on. Are those dogs? Are those guys right now? Those are guys you want on your team. They're the model of inconsistency. They're the model of letting Quinn Hughes down, and they let this whole fan base down for real. This is like, you asked me the whole Tocchet thing. Are the Canucks cooked? Like this season, are Patterson and Miller cooked? Because if that's the case, if one of them are cooked, the Canucks are done. They're done.
Yeah. And I think tonight, again, it's been so back and forth with these two players. And now JT Miller has gone 4 games without a point after having a 4-point night against the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know if there's been a single game this season where they've both been on the same page and they've both just had a lights out stellar game. And again, this team can win games if only one of them's going, but they've proven that they can't win games consistently if both guys are going. And we've had this conversation before, but I think it needs to be talked about again. I mean, what is the next move for the Vancouver Canucks? And I do think there's 4 options here, so let's run through it. The first option is you have a hope and a prayer that things are going to work out, and you add to this core by mortgaging a future. And now this is a move that if the Canucks did that, if they mortgaged a future and got that top 4 defenseman or another top 6 winger or whatever it is, and it blows up in their face, that's the most embarrassing move this team could make, and it's risky. The next is trading Miller or Patterson. Both are incredibly risky moves. Both players have been extended by this management team. They've been given votes of confidence by this management team. They've also been called out by this management team this season. But both players are guys that this team has committed to long-term. And the fourth and final thing you could do, in my opinion, is fire Rick Tocchet. And it is the easiest thing to do, right? The easiest thing to do is to fire coaches, make them the scapegoat. I don't think that's going to happen unless the Canucks actually fall out of the playoff race. Like right now, they're clinging around the wild card spot. The Flames lost tonight, so they didn't gain any ground in the
Wow, the Flames lost tonight. Wow, I'm schedule watching. Oh my God, the Flames lost tonight.
But tell me
Dude.
I'm wrong. The Canucks aren't going to fire Rick Tocchet if they're like 2 points out of a playoff spot. I mean, look, the New Jersey Devils last season, I think, are the prime example. And obviously, they were let down by the goaltending. And I think there's more red flags in Vancouver because the goaltending's actually been pretty good. And I know Kevin Lankinen had a bit of a tough night tonight, but he had 4.5 expected goals against. I mean, it wasn't this one wasn't really on Lankinen aside from the one he coughed up behind his own net to kick off the scoring there. But Lindy Ruff and the New Jersey Devils, right? Lindy Ruff was named a Jack Adams finalist when the Devils had a great season, went to round 2, much of the Canucks did, losing in game 7. Lots of parallels there. The next season they suck, and then Lindy Ruff gets fired on March the 4th when the Devils are well out of the playoff race.
But that's
the Canucks may fire Rick Tocchet this season, but they're not doing it until they are well out of the playoff race.
Why not, though?
Happen.
Why not? Devil's advocate. I don't want it to happen. I already told you how I feel about teams always firing coaches, but then you have to. I almost swore there. You have to shove it up my ass and tell me that, like, yo, but look at this core. This core's had 3 different head coaches in the last like 3-4 years, so anything is possible. That being said, this guy doesn't have a contract at the end of the season. Like, he doesn't. I'm not saying like bring in somebody external. Like what type of other coaches bump could you lean on maybe internally at Malhotra? I don't know. Just like promoting Foot, Gontra. I don't know. Henrik and Daniel. I don't know. But Trevor, this season is over, in my opinion, if this core doesn't, tune back into whatever Tocchet is preaching. Because right now it is very, very obvious. Very, very obvious that either Sherwood and Hughes, those two, and not everyone else are listening to the coach. Like, they don't give an ish about what Rick Tocchet's having to say. Look at how they come out in games. Like, they look so flat. There's no discipline. There's no focus. There's no fight for each other. You know what I'm saying? There's no Tocchet identity in this club, right? Does anyone breathe Tocchetism in this club? Nobody's playing like him. Nobody's like, there's no culture. Everything's gone. Everything's gone. It's been 42 games of absolute mediocrity, and there's been like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 ass kickings or embarrassing moments already. That's 25% of the season.
Yeah, I wanted some stats digging. I wonder if they've had more ass kickings than they've had multi-goal wins this season, right?
Dude, this is a really bad season, Trevor. This is, let's be honest, you've watched a lot of hockey. I've watched a lot of hockey, Trevor. This is like, if without Lankinen, without Hughes, this team's a lottery team. That's how there's no identity. There's no culture. There's nothing that this team can lean on. There's no foundation. They need a miracle to fix this because, again, they have nothing to lean on. No past anything. They only won for one season, Trevor. Like this core, and I'm really pointing the finger at Elias Patterson and JT Miller. Like, it's embarrassing for real. Like, you fooled me like this. You fooled me. I thought I was good with this whole sports thing. I thought I could like read the lines. I've watched so many games in my life. I thought that these two could coexist and be pros and be dogs. But quite honestly, it's not hard to see that they've let all the noise get to them. And you cannot pay guys that much money if they let the noise get to them. You got to be like Quinn Hughes and shut the phone down and read some books and just play hockey. Can't get emotional about it. And Trevor, like, where is the emotion on this team? How does a team that's at the end of a road trip go down 3-0 in 6 minutes and there's no pushback? I'm not talking about goals or taking shots. I don't give about that. But where's your identity? Like, where's caring? Where's a little slash after a whistle? Where's any of that? There's nothing. There's nothing. I was reading the Discord. Sportsnet Plus, suck my ass for real. You guys disconnecting me in the third period for no reason. It's $25 a month for what? I couldn't watch the third period, but somebody told me Lecker Mackey gets smoked in the third period. And nobody defends Lecker Mackey. Nobody. It's 6-1. The Canucks are an embarrassment. And again, I hate to do this, guys, but the proof is in the pudding. They're not a team.
Yeah, and I think you summed it up pretty well there, Kyle. I do want to touch or circle back to Rick Tocchet and potential changes here quickly. We talked about, you said, why not? Like, why not Rick Tocchet get the boot? Not that you're vouching for it, but like, why couldn't it happen? I think based on the style they're playing, how it has absolutely failed this season in terms of just how much they've generated, how little they've generated, I should say. There's an argument that Rick Tocchet should be the guy on the chopping block. Again, I think it is a bit soon based on how good they were last season. But the main reason why I don't really think it's on Tocchet, I think he's partly to blame, but I don't think he's the primary culprit here. Kyle, you mentioned it. This core has been through 3 head coaches now. If they can this guy and they go to a fourth, you are not addressing the real problem on this team. And that is the question about whether this core can get it done. And we wanted to believe, Kyle, you got the JT Miller tramp stamp My
do.
God. I mean,
You
that's
do.
looking like a bad decision now. I got EP40 tattooed inside my butt cheek. Maybe that's why he's doing so bad. You can blame me, Canucks fans. But the
I
core's
believe
proven right
they
now that
fooled
they
us.
can't get it done. They fooled us.
They
Yeah,
fooled
they fooled us.
fooled
Now we have
us.
to go get get our matching
No, but Trevor,
tattoos removed, man.
here's the thing, and I want to get to the grades too. And that's gonna take like 1 minute to really go through all the grades for real. They're all Fs, but all in all, though, yeah, I'm putting most of the blame on the two biggest players on this team outside of Hughes. But here's the thing about Tocchet this season too. He is not proving that he's a good coach this year, because I know he's had to deal with a lot of injuries, and I know we're still in the fight. Okay, maybe he's not proving that he's a great coach. I'm not sure how much great coaches get paid. I don't know how much accolade he's willing to spend, but I know coach of the year, boom, boom, boom. But this year, how many times has his line combinations worked out? Barely. How about today when we talked about, maybe putting Hronek with somebody else so you could split up Hughes and Hronek and not leave Myers on his own pairing, because Tyler Myers on the third goal. I know it's Miller's fault too, but Myers, man, thinks he's a superhero. All in all, Rick Tocchet trusts Tyler Myers like my dad trusted me to take over his business. But it's so stupid. It's so annoying, bro. It's so pathetic. Like, Rick Tocchet's made some bad moves. And another one. I'm sorry. I know Kevin Lankinen got a shutout, but Thatcher Demko worked his ass off to get back. Twice. He's your alpha. He's your dog. He's the culture. He's the stoic. He's like Quinn Hughes. He's the closest thing to Quinn Hughes in that room. When it comes to stoicism, keeping it calm, keeping it cool. And Connor Hellebuyck's on the other side of the net. And what does Tocchet do? He starts Lankinen. Hey, you don't want to blame him, but at the end of the day, it was the wrong choice. And that's another wrong choice that Tocchet's made this season when it comes to pressing buttons on this team.
Yeah, and as much as you want to pile and talk, I will say that largely does go to the goaltending coach. And Tocchet can override him, right? That's the way it goes. But Marco Torrenius is probably the guy that made the call there with Lankinen over Demko. I just wonder what Demko's health's like right now. I mean, he did play in Carolina, but man, oh man, we're just seeing a heavy dose of Kevin Lankinen lately. And Kyle, you called it before the game, man. Kudos to you. Thatcher Demko, a .928 save percentage in his career against the Winnipeg Jets. This seemed like they had to put him in, and I'm not sure if it would have made much of a difference tonight, but I do think it would have been closer than 6-1.
Trevor, so when you're watching this with your family, I know you're like second best dad in the world. Like, it's 3-0 in 6 minutes. Kyle Connor just skates by JT. Explain that feeling and then go to break. I know you want to get to break, because to me, I felt embarrassed. I literally felt embarrassed. And again, I don't know why I keep going back to last season, and that now that whole Nashville series is looking like a fluke. It really is. Going to Game 7 against the Oilers, it looks like a fluke. It feels like a fluke. I know it was a different team. We had 9 different players. Demko was hurt, blah, blah, blah. I'm just talking about my emotions now, and it's, again, I'm just embarrassed, man, to be a Canucks fan right now.
So, with my family, watching the Canucks game, and my wife comes home and she's like, "Baby, why are you so sad?" I'm like, I'm fine. She asked me again, "Why are you so sad?" And I was like, my goddamn hockey team sucks. They were supposed to be a Stanley Cup contender, and here I am.
We lied to the people.
My kids, and it's getting to me, man. And the saddest part was when the game ended, Sportsnet cuts the highlight pack, and there my daughter is chanting, "Go Canucks, go! Go Canucks, go!"
During the highlights.
Kyle Connor scores again and again and again.
That's sad.
She eventually stopped cheering after the fourth Canucks goal. I'm getting choked up here, man.
Don't cry.
You gotta get the break, man.
That's one of the saddest things. That's one of the saddest things I've ever heard in my life. She's watching the highlights. She thinks she's watching the game. She screams. I know Everly's screaming, "Go Canucks, go!"
Yeah.
And her heart's getting broken. Trevor, cut the break. You're gonna make me cry, man. That's unreal.
Locked on Canucks, your Canucks every day. Follow along with the ride, whether it's happy or sad. Subscribe, like on YouTube. Go follow us on the podcast side. We'll be back after shouting at our friends over at Rocket Money and FanDuel. All right, if you got too many subscriptions that you're paying money for, maybe even some you forgot about, that's where you could use someone like Rocket Money. They are much more reliable than the Vancouver Canucks, okay? Rocket Money, they made it so easy to track down all my subscriptions, especially the ones I wasn't paying for. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscription, monitor your spending, and lower your bills, baby, so you can grow those savings. It brings together everything in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. I was hoping to go see a Canucks playoff game, but man, oh man. Anyways, Rocket Money, they have over 5 million users, and they've saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year, all while using the app's premium features. So make sure you cancel your unwanted subscriptions right now and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Man, oh man. So, with FanDuel right now, I've been saying for a while, bet the under when the Canucks are playing right now, because prior to tonight, 8 goals scored total by both teams in their last 3 games. If you've been betting the under on Canucks games, it is an unsexy bet, but it's been making you money. That didn't hit tonight, but man, oh man, you could have bet by the Jets to win by 4.5, and you would have made a few bucks. Whatever you're betting on, whether it's NFL, NHL, or bowling, make sure you do so on FanDuel. Okay, right now, new customers can bet $5 and now get not $100, not $200, but $300 in bonus bets if you win that first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app, it's so easy to navigate. I can do it when I'm ass hammered, baby. They got a variety of bets to keep every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. If you have gambling troubles, there's the hotline down below, both in the podcast and on YouTube. Be extra careful when you're gambling hammered, and make sure if you're betting on sports to visit FanDuel.com and join today to get started with $300 in bonus bets on FanDuel.com.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, Kyle Ballin, Trevor Baggs. We got a handful of minutes left. Trevor Baggs, if you got to go in 10 minutes, you got to go. I'm going to read a bunch of comments. I'm going to be here for the people because I feel like crying. And I also feel like being a teacher. Trevor, you haven't ran this segment with me, but let's run it. 5 minutes for report cards because we got to talk about that game still. Okay, where's the card up here? Okay, we got it right here. Okay, let's go through the lineup. We got 5 minutes to do this. Somebody got the clock. Trevor, can we keep the? Okay, we got 17. Okay, but we got to stop at 22 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy for me. I feel like we can do this literally in 20 seconds. Okay, literally, because I'm giving everyone an F, including Vincent Desharnais. Trevor, start from the top. Brock Besser.
F looks slow tonight. Carson Soucy, F looks slow. Connor Garland, that might have been his worst game of the season. He was turning the puck over left, right, and center. I mean, I feel like JT Miller, who had a horrendous game turning the puck over. I felt like his bad juju was rubbing off on Connor Garland.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yo, Trevor, I wrote down the same note. Sorry to cut you off. I wrote the exact same note down. Yo, JT Miller's the leader on the team. He's an A. He's an alpha. Like, he's got that clout. He's got that power. But when he's playing like he's dragging his feet, I don't know if he's injured. Maybe he's injured, right? That's the thing. But, bro, like, the way he's handling the puck shows that he does not care. Like, he doesn't care. He didn't care if this team won or lost tonight. That's what it looked like, and it's rubbing off on his teammates. And it sucks that maybe I'm overanalyzing, but when it's that obvious, it's something else, bro. It's something else. Like, you can see it, and I saw something on Twitter too, and we'll get to more of the Twitter stuff later at the end of the show. But somebody was comparing him to a basketball player that's like giving up on his team. Yeah. And the NBA is full of divas. Like, the NBA is that league, and that's how stars get their way out of teams. And JT Miller, I can't believe I'm saying this, but yo, like, today's effort was frightening. Anyways, I'm giving him an F too, like I just said. Keep going, Trevor.
Yeah, Philip Kronik, I'm going to cut him some slack at his return and give him a D. He didn't look good tonight, but it's his first game back in 7 weeks. Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, he had a shot or two. No, I'm giving him an F. No, Lecker-Mackey's, come on. It's like 10th NHL game. I'm not giving him an F. I'm giving him a C-.
C- too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Suter almost scored in the PK wraparound. Let's give him a D. Derek Forbort, give him a big D. Between a D and an F for DF, Derek Forbort. Phil DiGiuseppe. I like Phil DiGiuseppe's fight, but I'm starting to wonder like why this guy isn't in the lineup game after game. Like, I don't know, man. It's grasping at straws. He's a fourth liner, but I think Tocchet wants him in there because he brings some fight. But like, man, oh man, it's just like night after night, he just like skates hard, doesn't do anything with the puck. La-di-da. Here we go.
And one of these forwards, like, just get into somebody's face, get into somebody's grill, like, just bother somebody, add some spice to this team. Again, no fight to this team. If PDG's in the lineup, like do something. Do something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's absolutely embarrassing. And I don't know if you brushed over Danton Heinen and Niels Höglander. Like
No, I did. Yeah.
Heinen B for boring. Like, but I don't know what else you can expect from him. And Höglander scores a goal today, but at the same time, I thought early on Niels Höglander was bad again today.
Yeah, no, shout out to Niels Höglander. I'll give him let's give him a B- for scoring his first goal in 34 games.
Wow.
Oh my god. Did he even go longer than 10 games without a goal last season? I kind of said something about the Canucks this season. Kyle, take on the next three: Patterson, Hughes, and Sherwood.
Patterson F-, just an absolute embarrassment. And I was listening to I always watch Steve Dangle do his thing after the Canucks play the Maple Leafs. And if we beat the Maple Leafs, I love watching Steve Dangle just rant. It's like I'm a petty guy like that. And also I'm Canadian, okay? It just goes hand in hand. And it was funny how we were gassing up Elias Patterson so much in that game. Like, we're like, oh my God, this guy's back. Pavel Datsyuk. Oh my God, Patterson's back. Thank you. Dude, Steve Dangle talked about how, like, the Canucks beat us that night and, like, Patterson and Miller didn't do anything. This is how bad it is for Elias Patterson right now. I'm sorry, but the standard is so low. I keep saying this because it's the truth. We're grading this guy and just appreciating this guy when he's looking like Philip Deneau. I don't like that. F- for Patterson. Honestly, Quinn Hughes, I thought about this a lot. I'm giving him an F too. Like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of getting my ass kicked by the Oilers sometimes. Like the way he's playing. Like, we need something's got to give. Something's got to give. Like, you're the captain of this team. You're down 3-0. Like, I know you're not the loud guy on the team, but yo, this is embarrassing. Like, how do you come out in the second and third period and allowing goals in the first minute? You know what I'm saying? Of every period in this game. Like, that's on the captain too. Sure,
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. We got Juleson, Bluger, Myers, DeBrus, Lankinen left. I'm giving them all lefts. Tyler Myers actually, according to average game score, had the worst game among all Canucks players tonight. A couple penalties on the ice for a couple goals against. I'm trying to see if he had worst single game performances. Tyler Myers, with his performance tonight, it was the 5th worst performance by any Canucks player in a single game this season. Only topped by Brandstrom, Myers himself, and Noah Juleson with worse games.
Don't you think that's on the coach, though? Honestly, at this point, no, real talk. How come Rick Tocchet and Adam Foote think that, like, Tyler Myers is a legitimate number 3, number 4 defenseman? The whole league is not scared of Tyler Myers. They love when that guy's on the ice.
Yeah.
When Tyler Myers is not playing with a calm defenseman, you know who he reminds me of? Like the best version of Vincent Desharnais.
Oh, God.
No, bro, he's bad.
Yeah.
He's bad.
Yeah, he's like a Rasmus Ristolainen-esque kind of player, right? Like, just all chaotic, takes a lot of penalties. And yeah, again, you talked about last year being a fluke. In a lot of ways, like, we haven't really asked this question. We thought Adam Foote was a genius last year. We were saying, like, give Adam Foote the Jack Adams. Was what Adam Foote did last season a complete fluke?
I think he got a lot of help from Ian Cole. Secret coach. Just one extra guy, man. One extra guy that could hold. Because here's the thing about Ian Cole. Crazy to say this, but that room is full of losers. Historical losers. I'm sorry to say it. Ian Cole was going to the playoffs every year. A bit of a glue guy. It's unreal how we signed Tyler Myers for 3 years, and Ian Cole must have signed for like what, 1 or 2 years?
1 year, $3.1 million deal with Utah. Let's get to the comments, man. Unbelievable.
Get to the comments, man.
Let's give it to the people. People are pissed off. Comments blowing up. Shout out to the best listeners in the world. Here it is. Canucks questions. Oh, man. Lots going on tonight. And let's get to this question from Mother Knucker. Are we going to be in last place by the time the Canucks visit the Dallas Stars on January 31st? Well, Mother Knucker, let's look at the schedule ahead for those Vancouver Canucks, because we talked about it time and time again. It doesn't get any easier for this team. They got the Los Angeles Kings on Thursday night, the Edmonton Oilers on Saturday, the Buffalo Sabres, who last I checked are still an NHL team, on the 21st, then the Oilers, then the Capitals again, then the Blues, then the Predators, then the Stars. So you look at that schedule. I mean, this little stretch isn't as dire as the one they're currently in. You get the Blues, who are on the Canucks' tail, but on a great team. The Predators, who have beat the Canucks twice, and the Sabres as well, who played better than the Canucks when we play them. Oh my God, what a season, Kyle! But yeah, the Canucks won't be in last place by then. But I do wonder if they're surpassed by teams like the St. Louis Blues or the Utah Hockey Club, and they're closer to the Anaheim Ducks, Kraken, Predators, Sharks, and Blackhawks, who are kind of bringing up that hairy rear in the Western Conference.
That's so sad to even think about, man. It's crazy. Like anytime you get your ass kicked, Trevor, like you know how you're always like, oh yeah, this is a good thing. This is a humbling experience. You can learn from this. You got to bounce. Sometimes you got to get your ass kicked to start running, you know. And it's like, how many times has that already happened to this team? This is like, I hate to say it, but this, and I didn't live through it, but this is feeling like Messier level darkness around this team. Like it's so mediocre. It's so sad. There's a lot of talent on that Messier team too. Like it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm getting dark, but how can I not be by reading your comments, okay? Look at this one, man. Calder Kid PD. Okay, this guy's been commenting on our show for the last like month. This guy was a new guy commenting on the show. I thought this guy was a youngin. Not to say 65 is old. But man, oh man, he said he's been dealing with this Canucks crap since he was 10 years old. And now he's 65 years old. Calder Kid PD. Okay, listen to me right here, brother. Drink some water. Get 10 hours of sleep every day. Go 15,000 steps a day because I need you to live for another 35 years. I need you to get to 100. Every shot at the barrel to get this Stanley Cup. Me and Trevor talk about this all the time. You think we're joking? We've been fans of this team for 22 years. Maybe Trevor's been 23, 24. I don't know. I've been a fan of this team for 22. I'm trying to get. Yeah. I don't trust it. I'm just trying to live to see one. I really am. Now, Trevor, I want to debut this new segment too before you get out of here because I'm just pressing buttons and Canucks Twitter again. It's so sus sometimes, but it does mean a lot. It does mean a lot to us. So I'm gonna run this segment. Let's see how it works. We're gonna end the show off on this segment every now and then. Okay, it's called the exit. Okay. Pulled out some tweets that I found that made me think, okay? This one comes from Caesar. I don't know if this guy watches the show, but he's saying that this isn't a coaching problem. This team changes coaches like people change socks. This is a core problem. The core of this team is rotten and needs to be removed. Is that a one person being removed from this core, or is this a two-person thing? Like I'm hearing Besser, Miller, Patterson, Besser. Like it's one or the other, two or the other, or am I just on drugs right now? Do I need to slow down? What's going on here, Trevor?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure if it's more than one player or not. It's hard to know. We're not in that room. Like even the reporters that are on the team every day, they don't know. Trust me. Like when I was at the game in Nashville, there was reporters asking Luke Shen like what the dirt was. You know what I mean? And like no one really knows. No one really knows what's going on. We all have our guesses and our theories, but. Look, I agree with Caesar. I mentioned it 15 minutes ago, right? Like this core has been through 3 coaches. And they've changed the general manager. How many more changes can you make up top? None. You're kind of out of those cards. It's got to be the core at this point. And again, it's unfortunate, and I do wonder how much leeway there's going to be. Like if they'll just let the season ride out. It doesn't seem very Rutherford-esque, to be honest. But yeah. I mean, everyone performed well last year, except for Patterson over the last 30 games, right? But yeah, there's some really hard decisions to make, and I mean, this fan base is so torn over PD versus Miller. Brock's a UFA. It's I would say probably at least one at this point, if not maybe 2 pieces. But again, there's some good bones here on this Canucks team. It's just they're so Jekyll and Hyde right now.
They're too emotional, Trevor. They're too immature, bro. Like, they might prove me wrong over the next 40 games, but again, I just don't see a foundation over their last 41 games where I'm like, okay, this team took last season seriously. They took the off season seriously. They mentally prepared to be better. I don't see any of that. And then I also see a group of players, especially in Patterson and Miller, who are tuning out their coach. And I'm like, you guys haven't won shit, and you guys are tuning out Rick Tocchet, a champion. You guys are tuning out Alvin and Rutherford. Is Quinn Hughes tuning out those guys? Oh, no, he isn't. He's taking his shit seriously. He's trying to lead by example. He's trying to be a better player, a better individual, a better teammate. oh, he's doing that, but you guys aren't doing that. That to me shows that these guys are immature. Like any player on the Canuck that's been a part of the core for a very long time has no right to tune out Rick Tocchet this early. Yo, this guy won Coach of the Year. He also got picked by Team Canada to coach at the Four Nations. Like, if he's annoying you, you work your problems out with him. You just don't tune him out. And if that's the case, you're not a winner. You're immature. And that's where I feel like Albion and Rutherford have to do their research here, because they could fire the coach and that could be the wrong decision.
Yeah. Again, I honestly, I'm not in love with what Talk is doing, but I don't think it's the right decision right now. And I also don't think there is a big pressure point to make a move if the move's not there. Like, they got to wait until the right move's there. Like, we've talked about it before. Trading Miller or Patterson is probably a mistake unless you get the right deal. So I think Canucks management has to be a bit patient there.
Look at this comment from Tyrone. I thought it was throwback night tonight. They look like a bunch of Louis Ericssons. And that's no, but Trevor, you're laughing, but like that, dude, come on. Why does it look like that more often than not with this team? That's a dejected lineup. That's a team that has no mojo, no sauce. They're not listening to the captain. They're not listening to the coach. They don't give up about being a Vancouver Canuck. It's lackadaisical. They're collecting paychecks out there. And it's like, how did they get here when it's only been like what, a handful of months? Like 8 months ago, 9 months ago, they're having success. Like, did the Oilers kill them? Like, what happened? Are they not over the loss? Like, what happened? You would think that this team would be like, okay, we lost because Demko wasn't there. Besser got hurt. Like, the fans were doing, but this team, did they take it personal? What happened?
Look, I've said this before. Good teams go through bad stretches. This is a long bad stretch, though, for this Vancouver Canucks team. So we'll dive into it more in other episodes of Locked On Canucks. I kind of want to dive into other stars that have had really rough patches, supposedly in the prime of their career, and other teams that have really struggled before maybe finding that gear again. So we'll dive into that. Hopefully the Canucks will start winning hockey games, and maybe we just talk about that instead. But we got you covered here, win or lose here on Locked On Canucks.
And the last comment has to go to this, and maybe it's karma, okay? This comes from Lucy saying, let's start dropping those ticket prices. At least just go for the vibes. And I read this comment, and I know she wasn't attacking the Canucks personally, but I feel like the Canucks raised their ticket prices by like 10 to 15 to 20% after one season of success. I'm not joking. Like, they did that shit to season ticket holders. One season of success after a decade full of mediocrity. And this is how you rebound? Like, screw the record. How about your record at home, though? Like, this is embarrassing. This is not fair. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of empty seats like on Thursday and Saturday. I'm not even joking, because A, it's expensive. We know those tickets aren't sold. You can get them on Ticketmaster. And did I say they're expensive? And oh yeah, this team, Trevor, let's be real. Let's be honest. Another 23 shots today, right? 24 shots today. This team is the most boring team in hockey outside of Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, and it's funny. A guy who hasn't taken heat in a while is Francesco Aquilini. Ever since he hired Rutherford and Alvin, he's kind of dipped out of the spotlight, left his foot off the gas a little bit, but he is a bit of a greasy bastard. Don't forget who is running the show for your Vancouver Canucks, and for him to raise ticket prices like that after one season, yeah, that's you often. I'm not going to say that every team that wins has some good angel-esque owner. A lot of greasy owners win, but I say more often than not, the greasy guys, they slip to the bottom of the standings.
Now you're scaring me. I didn't think about that. No, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that karma. It's crazy, man. It's like we're finding so many different people to blame, and it's just it's just been such a failure of a season. And like, overall record aside, I'm just fed up and bored, and it's so annoyed of the effort. Like, they deserve to be worse than 19, 14, and 10 or whatever they are. Like, I'm not even lying about that. Like, they deserve to be worse than that record based on how they played. And it's an embarrassing time to be a Canucks fan. Like, this is very much reminding me of like some Mark Messier-ish. And I don't know if I need therapy. I don't know if I need to, like, again, just chill with my girl, chill with my dog. I'm sorry for being super dark, but Trevor, like, you can't really blame me completely, because the Canucks, like, they've been pathetic for most of the season.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. And you know what? I'm going to give the last comment to Matt here too, because this is an interesting one, and maybe we'll touch on that on other episodes here. Winnipeg traded Dubois, Pierre-Luc Dubois to the LA Kings for Gabe Vilardi, Rasmus Kupari, another player, which is Alex Iafallo. Winnipeg won the trade while putting the best player over to LA and receiving 3 lesser players, which helped the team more. And that's an interesting point, right? I mean, look, Pierre-Luc Dubois doesn't have the same ceiling and pedigree as guys like Miller and Patterson, who have each hit 100 points in their career. I don't think Dubois had surpassed 65 at the time the Jets traded him. So not quite the same category of player, but that's some food for thought there in terms of what a trade could look like for Miller or Patterson. But Kyle, a lot of darkness here, a lot of venting, a lot of therapy. Hopefully you enter the therapy sessions with us here on Locked On Canucks, whether you're an everydayer, an occasional listener, a first-time listener, a new subscriber, or those of you who joins on the live show on YouTube, wherever you are. Whenever you're listening, we appreciate the hell out of you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. Kyle and I, whether it's win or loss, we'll always find the sauce. We'll always find the energy to talk about your Vancouver Canucks because we're living the dream, man. And one day, you and you and you and you and you and Kyle and myself will also be living the dream watching a Stanley Cup winning hockey team. But it's seeming like more and more that won't be this season, unfortunately.
I don't know what you want me to say to that, Trevor. I'm balding. You got kids. Just take care of yourself, man. Take care of yourself. Hit the like button. All 90 of you guys. If you guys do that, if this video gets 40 likes, I'll do 40 push-ups with my eyes closed. Okay. I don't know if you ever seen anyone do that. So
there we go. Last comment to Bob Luger. Don't take this the wrong way, but Kyle can handle my business any day.
What does that mean?
Listening to Locked On Canucks. You know what it means.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.